Hey everyone, this is Stefan Gonik from EFTalive.com, and we're going to be doing some EFT tapping together today to help you boost your immune system so you can be in a better situation to protect yourself, having to do with the coronavirus that we're all dealing with. So, I'd like to start by kind of talking about what helps us and what hurts us in terms of our immune system. So it's very natural for us to be kind of freaked out right now with the whole thing that's going on with the coronavirus. It's a pandemic around the world. It's coming to the United States. It's in Europe. It's all over the place, and it's spreading pretty rapidly. And that is, of course, a really scary thing. And it's very anxiety provoking. It's very stressful, and this all makes sense. I mean, it should be, right? It's a scary virus that can kill people. You know, the death rate is about 3.5%. So it makes sense that it is scary. Now, what helps our immune system? Oh, first of all, I am Stefan Gonik from EFTalive.com. Forgot to introduce myself, so here I am. So, what helps or hurts our immune system, right? The best way that we can protect ourselves from the virus is to build up our immune system to protect it. Because if our immune system is as strong as it can be, then it can protect us if we get exposed to the point where we don't even necessarily get sick. Or it can help us if we do get infected and we do get sick, it can help the sickness be in the mild category, right? Some people who get infected by coronavirus have no symptoms at all. Some of them have very mild symptoms, like even less than a cold. Some people have symptoms that are basically similar to a cold. Some people have symptoms more like the flu. And some people have very intense symptoms that have to be hospitalized, and some unfortunately don't make it. So this is all going to be based on our immune system. So we want to do whatever we can to help our immune system so we're in the best place we can be. So the biggest thing that hurts our immune system, unfortunately, is stress and lack of sleep. Not having a really good night's sleep. And of course those two are connected, right? Because if we go to bed and we're all stressed out, it makes it hard to have a good night's sleep. Right? So they go together. So we want to have a really good night's sleep, and then we want to do things to reduce our stress. And then how do we do that, considering this is such a stressful situation and there's so many things that are scary? And we do that, of course, with tapping, with EFT. So that's what we're going to do tonight together. I made some comments in the chat asking people to share what it is that they're stressed about. I mean, some things are obvious. We're afraid that we can get the virus and maybe even die. I mean, that's a possibility. That's certainly scary and stressful. It could also be scary that maybe you're not as concerned about yourself, but you're as concerned about your parents or your grandparents or your children. Now, interestingly, children are less likely to have a serious case of the coronavirus. So lots of times they have a very, very mild case. In fact, I found out that they determined that a lot of children can get the virus and show no symptoms at all, though they can be contagious. So there's there's that concern when you're around a child. Like, that child seems perfectly fine. They're running around playing, but do they have the virus? Right. So, but there's a lot of natural fears in this situation. But I was kind of inviting you guys, if you have any particular fears or concerns or things that make you anxious, to go ahead and put them in the comments, and I will respond to them. So one person wrote that he is concerned for those who can't afford to self-quarantine. That makes a lot of sense, right? So some people who have a job and they don't have enough money to stay home from the job, and they have to continue to go into work, stuff like that. And another person wrote, frustration at how people are hoarding supplies and food, so that not everyone have access to those items. Right? Definitely another source of stress. See if there's anybody else. Okay, good. this person wrote that she will not be able to travel back to her family. That's a really great point, that lots of times people who had already traveled for some reason, vacation or business trip or whatever, may now not be able to come back, either because they're in another country or just even in the same country they're not comfortable flying, right? We're supposed to stay away from public situations that could potentially expose us. So yes, having to be separated from the family. Another person wrote that sleep issues because of anxiety leading to a decrease in immune health. Yes, that's exactly the thing that I started with, right? How our stress can cause us to have a really poor night's sleep, and a really poor night's sleep is one of the big factors that reduces our immune system. Another person wrote that she is anxious about it's unknown how long this pandemic will last until it's safe to resume normal life again. So there's fears about how long this is going to go on for. So these are all good things. If anybody wants to add any more, I'm going to include all these things in our tapping. If you go ahead and just type in the comments, and then I can include it. So, there's all the normal things we can. I'm about to start tapping. I'm just talking a little bit longer, just so to give people a chance to type some more stuff that we can tap on together. But there's certain precautions that we can all take. You want to stay home as much as possible. Avoid big groups at all times. Wash your hands frequently. Don't touch your face until you just wash your hands, right? If you haven't washed your hands recently, if you've touched anything out in public since you washed your hands, you absolutely don't want to touch your face, because that's how we get it. So there's these normal precautions we can take, but once we're taking all of our precautions, we can still be scared and stressed. Another person wrote, I'm worried that I might not be able to go back to work for an extended period of time, which brings up a lot of money concerns, of course. So there's a lot of fears. And feel free to keep adding them, and we're going to go ahead and start tapping. And at the end of the tapping, I'm going to talk about how we can turn this around to our advantage. What kind of silver lining can we find in this situation once we've reduced some of these fears and anxieties and concerns and all this stuff. So we're going to get to that at the end. But first, we're going to start tapping all these fears. See, another person wrote, anger at government officials in the United States for not managing this effectively and telling people it's not a big deal, when in fact it really is a big deal. Right? We got a couple more. Afraid of already being infected and seeking anxiously for any symptom. Because we may, there's they say there's a 5 to 14 day incubation period, so you can be sick, or at least be infected, for 5 days to 2 weeks before you even find out that you are. Let's see, another one says, impact that this will have on families. Parents who will struggle being home for one periods of time with their children. Parents will struggle being home for, I think, just periods of time with their children. Another person wrote, fear, anxiety, and uncertainty. A lot of things to be anxious about in this situation. So, people, I'm going to go ahead and start tapping now, but feel free. Let's see. So, impact this will have on families, parents who will struggle being home for long periods of time with their children. Right, so I know a lot of people, their kids have been sent home from school, so they're home, and then their parents are, even if they could go to work, or even if they work at home, in fact, but their kids are home too, and then they have to take care of their kids. Like, how do they manage that? How do they handle it? And then there's the fear of I could hire a babysitter, but this is an outside person coming to our home, right? So again, it's scary. So a lot of stuff. So we're going to go ahead and start tapping, but feel free to keep adding more stuff as we're tapping, and I will try and include everything that people put in here. All right, so together now, let's go ahead and start tapping on our karate chop point. And everybody repeat out loud after me. You don't necessarily have to do it out loud, but it works a little better to do it out loud unless you're at a place where you feel comfortable doing that. And just repeat after me. I'm going to use initially very strong language to help bring out our fear more fully so we can then clear it out more completely. All right? So, even though I'm feeling terrified about this coronavirus, and you say that back, even though I feel terrified about the coronavirus, I deeply and profoundly love and accept myself. Even though I'm terrified about the coronavirus and potentially getting infected and maybe even dying, I deeply and profoundly love and accept myself with kindness and compassion. Even though I'm so anxious about the impact this will have on everyone and our economy, I deeply and profoundly love and accept myself. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and start tapping in all these different variations. So just go ahead and start tapping through the points. The way I like doing it is to keep moving through the points rather than staying at one point while we say a particular phrase. Just keep moving through the points, because the more rounds of tapping you do, the better EFT works, rather than staying for a long time at each point. All right, so just go ahead and do what I'm doing. Tap in a few times at each point, keep moving through the points, and I can start tapping on stuff. This coronavirus situation is terrifying. Coronavirus situation is terrifying. I might be infected and not even know it. It takes 5 to 14 days to find out if I'm infected. I feel like I could be a walking time bomb. I'm afraid of getting really sick. I'm afraid of even dying. And I'm afraid of infecting loved ones. What if I'm already infected and I don't know it, and I infect my family members? That would be horrible. This virus is so terrifying. I'm afraid of what could happen. And I'm afraid about how long this is going to last before I can go back to a normal life. Now, for those people who already have immune situations, right, they're high risk, either because they're, above 60, or have diabetes, or have some sort of immune problem. I'm going to tap for them at the moment. One person emailed me about that already. So this is for those of us who are high risk. I am a high risk person. And I'm really afraid of getting infected, because I have a higher chance of dying. And that's terrifying. And it's understandable that it's scary, because it is a possibility. And that's terrifying. Just because I'm high risk doesn't guarantee that I will die. But it does raise my chances. And that's terrifying. I'm already immunocompromised. And I'm terrified that I'll catch the virus, and that I might get really sick and even die. A terrifying possibility. Now, continuing for all of us. And I'm not just terrified. I'm also frustrated. Even mad. I'm mad at my government for not handling the situation better. We still don't have enough testing kits yet. And that pisses me off. Some people in government have been minimizing the seriousness. And that makes me mad. Because it encourages people to do risky things and spread the infection. It really pisses me off. It also makes me angry that people are hoarding things. There are probably people with 20 bottles of hand sanitizer and 100 rolls of toilet paper and many other things. And that pisses me off. I hate that people do that. Instead of being cooperative, they just hoard things for themselves. And that makes me so angry. It's so frustrating. If you're one of the people who's angry, I encourage you to get into this. It really pisses me off. I hate it when people do that. The more you get into it, the more you release your anger. It pisses me so much. It makes me so angry. I hate it when people do that kind of thing. Ah! So let yourself go with it. Pisses me off. I hate it when people do that. Ugh. So frustrating. So frustrating. I also understand that people are scared. Even though I hate that they hoarded things, and it makes me mad, I also understand that they were scared. Just like I am. And that's what led them to hoard supplies. I also know that eventually there'll be more hand sanitizer for sale. And more toilet paper for sale. So I'll be able to get more. There's so many things to be scared of in this situation. I'm scared for those who can't afford to self-quarantine. Because they have to work and they can't stay home. It means that they may catch the coronavirus. And if they have it, they might spread it. So I'm scared and concerned for those who cannot afford to self-quarantine. I don't know if you can hear my cat, but I guess he's concerned too. And I feel so bad that I cannot travel to be back with my family. It makes me so sad. I feel so far away from them. And I feel bad for all those people in that situation, even if I'm home with my family. I feel bad for those who are separated. And I'm afraid I won't get enough sleep. I haven't been sleeping well lately. I know that hurts my immune system. And that's yet another fear. I really want a good night's sleep. But it's hard with all these stresses going on. With all these fears around the coronavirus. And I'm afraid that means I'll get the virus. And it'll be serious. And I might even die. So many fears. Also, I have no idea how long this pandemic will last. I don't know when it'll be safe to have a normal life again. I'm afraid it can go on for months and months. Who knows how long? I'm really afraid of this situation. I'm afraid that it could go on for a really long time. And we'll be cooped up in our homes and not be able to go out and not have a normal life. That's a really scary situation. Bottom line, I'm worried I might get the virus. I'm not just scared that I'll get it. I'm scared it'll be serious. I'm scared that I'll get really sick. I'm scared that I could even die. The one possible upside to getting the virus is that if I get it and recover okay, then I will be safe. Because you can't get it twice. Once you get it, you become immune to it. And you cannot spread it anymore either. So that's the one upside to getting the virus, is I may be able to finally relax. Not that I'm looking for it. And I'd rather not get it, for sure. But if worse comes to worse, and I do get the virus, and I go through it and recover, then I'll be fine. And I won't have to be scared anymore. And my cat is joining us. Here we go. Okay, let's settle him down. Okay. Okay, next fear. I'm afraid about my parents or grandparents getting the virus. Because I might get the virus and recover fine. And I'm safe from that point forward. But what happens if my parents or grandparents get the virus? It could be much more serious for them. I'm really scared if my parents or grandparents get the virus. So, because I'm afraid it'll be really serious for them. It's such a scary possibility. I'm really afraid that my parents or grandparents can get the virus. And that I might even give it to them. That would be terrible. I would feel so horrible if I gave them the virus. That's a terrifying prospect. If they got it, all I could do is hope and pray. Not all elderly people who get the virus die from it, but they are at higher risk. So I'm terrified of my parents or grandparents getting the virus. Okay, here's another one. I'm afraid that I already have the virus, and I'm constantly anxiously looking for symptoms. I coughed. Does that mean I have the virus? I sneezed. Does that mean I have the virus? I have a headache. Does that mean I have the virus? I have a sore throat. Does that mean I have the virus? I live in anxiety for every little symptom I have. Terrified that it means that I have the virus. Of course, stress can cause a headache. Allergies can cause sneezing and coughing. And a regular cold is just a regular cold. But with the coronavirus around, every little symptom I have becomes terrifying. And I'm also scared about having to take care of my kids who are home from school and managing my work. How do I juggle those things? This is such a hard situation because they need to be taken care of and I need to make money. I'm afraid, and maybe I could do it for a little while, some number of weeks. But if it goes on too long, I don't know what I'm going to be able to do. And that's really scary and stressful. And I feel bad for people who are in that situation. Because I know some people will really struggle. And that's stressful. See the next one. Oh, yes. And I am sad for all the small businesses that could be harmed by the shutdown. There are some businesses that are temporarily closed, and I'm afraid that they'll go out of business. I am sad and concerned for the impact that this will have on small businesses. I'm afraid some people will lose their business. Getting cat hairs on my face. I'm afraid that some people will lose their business because of the coronavirus. And I'm afraid for my family's health, for my health, my children's health, my spouse's health, my parents' health, all of my relatives. Okay, another person just wrote, I'm scared because I rely on income. I'm just going to read this first. Keep tapping though. I'm scared because I rely on income from a rental property and one tenant just lost her job and I've got a big mortgage to pay and worried what's going to happen. Yeah. So this is kind of the category of being afraid of if you're an owner of an apartment building, then you're a small business person, right? That's one of your businesses. Is that you have you own an apartment, you get rental income, and if you don't get enough rental income, you're not going to be able to cover your mortgage. That's another scary possibility. So I'm scared that my business will be affected. I'm scared I could even lose my business. I'm really scared that my business will be affected. And I'm scared that I will lose my business. And then what will I do? I'm scared of the financial hardship. Scared of the financial hardship because of the coronavirus. So many fears. So many fears. All these fears from the coronavirus. Okay, now I'd like everybody to take a deep breath. Remember, we're going to do a positive thing next. So take a deep breath. Notice that hopefully you're feeling more relaxed. This won't necessarily have cleared out all your fears and concerns and anxieties in this tapping we've done so far, but the cool thing is this is going to be recorded through YouTube, so you can keep replaying the tapping part to continue to relieve these fears and anxieties and everything. Just to relieve all this stress is the biggest thing, right? All these stressful feelings. Just keep coming back and repeat the tapping so that the reduced stress will help your immune system. The reduced stress will help you sleep better, which will also help your immune system. Because that is the best protection we can do for ourselves. So now we're going to do some positive tapping. And I'm going to talk about the silver lining. Okay? So let's go back to tapping. And repeat after me. What if there's a silver lining to this situation? What if there's a silver lining to the situation? Make sure you repeat everything I say. It's kind of hard to imagine. Somebody just wrote an amusing comment. With all these fearful things going on, it's hard to imagine a silver lining. At the very least, we're all stuck in our homes. We don't feel comfortable going out. In fact, we're not supposed to go out to help prevent the spread of the virus. And here I am feeling stuck at home. But what if that could be the silver lining? What if being at home gives me a special opportunity? an opportunity to go inward, an opportunity to focus on family and connection. An opportunity to do projects that I've been putting off for a long time. The opportunity to start developing new skills for my career or business. An opportunity to face some of my life issues that I've been meaning to heal for a long time, but that I kept putting off. We all have unhealed life issues that we already know that if we healed them, our life would be much better. What if I took this opportunity where I had to stay at home to finally face these life issues and do the healing that I need to make my life so much better for when the virus is gone? Because eventually this will pass. Eventually it'll be all over, and we can go back to a normal life. And why not make it a better normal life? I choose to take this opportunity to do personal development and to be closer to my family, but to work on myself in a positive way, where I learn new skills, start a business online that I've always wanted to start, or work through and heal some of my major life issues. I choose to take this opportunity. I choose to embrace this silver lining. I can make this a good thing for myself. And I choose to do so. All right, so everybody take a deep belly breath and check inside. See if you feel more relaxed, less stressed, and more hopeful. But this really can be an opportunity. That is the way I and my wife are choosing to deal with the situation. Is we get to be together more, which we're enjoying, and with our daughter. And we're also taking this as an opportunity to do what I said, to address things inside, to learn new skills, to develop our businesses, to address our life issues. You know, we're kind of forced into this situation, and this is a way we can make the best of it. So it can actually have a major silver lining for us. So I encourage you to have a major silver lining for you as well. Now, if you need any resources at all to help you with all this, you're very welcome to visit my website at eftalive.com. I have over 50 pages on my website. It's a major resource for EFT with articles, videos. I have a newsletter with an eBook on changing negative life beliefs and things like that. So one person just wrote, actually here, why don't you share, one person just shared something positive. I invite the rest of you to share something positive. To go ahead in the comments. We were started out by sharing our fears. Now share our hopes, share our takeaways. If you've got a positive takeaway from the tapping we did today, share that too. So one person just wrote, Yes, I choose to see the positive. 2 weeks off from work paid and time with my kids. Yes, that is a really cool aspect to this whole situation. A couple people said thank you to me, and you're very welcome. I'm really glad if you found this helpful, all this tapping. Remember, you can reuse the tapping over and over again. The YouTube live recording should be available pretty quickly after we end this call. So you'll have it available to keep tapping along as many times as you like. Does anybody else want to share some of their positive takeaways, what their plans, what they're going to do here? Let's see. This person wrote, I already feel more connected to everyone since coronavirus hit, and I feel much happier after this EFT. Thank you, Stefan. I'm so glad that you're feeling more connected and you're feeling happier after our tapping. You're very welcome. Another person wrote, thank you so much, Stefan. My takeaway from this session is to do some of the things I've been wanting to do. That's actually right. I thought of something else. Home projects, right? Any kind of projects that you've been kind of meaning to do for a long time. New hobbies, doing art, whatever it is that you've wanted to do that you haven't done because life is too busy. Here's your opportunity. This person wrote, let's see. Thank you. And again, you're welcome. As someone with fear of missing out, I'm relieved that there is nothing happening that I will miss out on. That's true. That's really true. Another person wrote, I love the silver lining. It's so inspiring. Yay. I'm so glad you think so. And we really can do cool stuff with this silver lining. I mean, I'm not just saying this stuff. I mean, I very sincerely believe this. It is what we are doing in this family, and I encourage all of you guys to do it. Let's see. This person wrote, I am not worried about the virus. I've just enjoyed watching you and working with you this morning. Thank you. Well, great. Thank you. You're very welcome. Anybody else before we sign off? Any more takeaways, hopefulness for the future, positive stuff? This person just wrote, I was laid off the end of February from the healthcare system. I'm not sure I was in a position to handle the stress of managing this. Didn't see the silver lining back then, but I do now. Yes. Yay. I am so glad. All right. Let's see what else. We will all learn so much about improving our immune systems. Thanks. And you're very welcome. One other good thing you can do, the advice that they give you when you have a cold, they say, get plenty of rest and drink lots of liquids. The drinking lots of liquids thing is also really important. In fact, one of the things I heard, and this is interesting, that I read, is that if you drink some water every 15 minutes, see, the virus infects our upper respiratory system. It does not affect our intestinal system. Stomach acid kills the virus. If you drink water every 15 minutes, it washes down. I mean, in case if you actually were exposed to the virus, drinking water helps wash it down into our stomach where it gets killed by our stomach acid. So drinking is good in general to hydrate our cells, which also helps us be healthier. But drinking frequently in small amounts helps kind of protect us. The other thing that's important to do to help your immune system is to avoid sugar. Sugar hurts our immune system. So take a moratorium on sugar. I know it's hard when we're stressed because it kind of makes us want to eat sugar. But you're doing yourself a favor if you can stop sugar temporarily, just for the duration. Then you can have a big sugar celebration after it's all over. But for now, I encourage people to stop the sugar stuff. But reducing stress, good night's sleep are the two biggest things you can do. And reducing sugar is probably number 3. So I'd encourage you to do that one too. Let's see. We have a couple other people. Yes. This is an opportunity to get out in nature, to walk, to learn, to meditate, and to cook good food. Yes. One of the safe places to be is nature, right? So those of us who don't spend enough time in nature, here's a great opportunity. You can either, if you live in nature, you can go for a nice long walk, or you can pop in your car and drive to a nature place and go walking in nature. That's a really cool thing you do. You don't actually remember. You don't have to totally just stay in your house. You're just not supposed to go in places where you're interacting with people a lot. But walking in nature is a beautiful thing you can do. That's really wonderful. Anybody else have something positive that they can share in this new place? Okay. So I'm just waiting because there's a 8-second delay after I say something before you guys actually hear me say it. And then giving people a chance to... Oh, okay, here we go. Oh, what if this is in the air and I'm afraid to go out of my house? Okay, I can give you some information about that. I actually, by the way, besides being an EFT practitioner, I have a bachelor's degree in neurobiology and biochemistry, and I studied immunology and viruses and all sorts of stuff. So I'm not a doctor, but I do understand the medical information that I read and I can share. So one of the things I can tell you, because I have been reading up on all this stuff, is that it doesn't, first of all, outside, it's not in the air. If you were to go, say, into a theater where a bunch of, hundreds of people were sitting in a room together, the virus doesn't last in the air very long. If you wait 3 hours from after the group left, you're safe. Things settle out of the air and it's gone. So it's not anything to worry about. Now, touching surfaces, you do have to be careful. This is why we wash our hands so much. And the virus lasts the longest on metal, steel, like stainless steel, and plastic. And it lasts up to 3 days on those surfaces. On other surfaces like cardboard and like cardboard boxes that get a package through UPS or whatever, it doesn't last very long on that at all. But like I said, stainless steel and plastic can last up to 3 days. So if you're in public, don't put your hand on rails. But anytime you've touched anything in public, just make sure you wash your hands before you touch your face. And that'll be good. But driving to nature and going for a walk, that's not going to be a risk. The one thing is if you get gas at a gas station, I would recommend you use a paper towel to hold the gas handle thing, right? Because other people are also grabbing it with their hand. So if you use a paper towel, that should take care of it. So anyway, those are some of the answers that I can give you about that. Let's see. So somebody else just said the same thing about the virus. You can only be exposed to the virus in enclosed places where a bunch of people were there, and it only stays in the air for 3 hours. So we have some consistent information there for you. This other person wrote, "This is a great opportunity to improve myself internally." Yes, absolutely. Another person wrote, "Hot tea, warm water with lemon too for drinking, washing down that virus." And that's the last comment I have so far. So let's put it to rest here. Reuse the tapping. De-stress. You can also do other things to de-stress. Nice hot baths, meditating, listening to beautiful music, all that. Somebody said hi from India. Hey, must be really late for you there in India. And glad you joined us. And take advantage of the silver lining to do cool new things for yourself. And I am here to help as an EFT practitioner with anything you might need. You can contact me at my website at EFTalive.com, and the link to my website is in the description of this video. All right, so thanks for joining me, everybody, and see you in YouTube. Keep tapping.